Welcome to tonight's live stream. I'm going to get started in a minute. I just want to let everybody know that the stream is getting ready to start. Okay, now that I've promoted the live stream to everybody online, I'm going to get started with tonight's show. Now, tonight's show is going to be different from my other shows. Now, usually I have a topic that I want to discuss, most cases, but today I'm going to do something a little different because over the last week, I have made a lot of progress in different areas as related to the SJS Direct imprint, and I want to talk about some of the things that have been going on as related to the SJS Direct imprint. Now, over the last month, I have had some really strong sales on the SJS Direct imprint, and we are now at the point where we're at 94 sales for the month. So I'm trying to rally to get the last 6 sales so we can meet that 100 sales mark and be able to say that we passed a major milestone. Now, sales have been fairly strong on SJS Direct books as of late. I mean, January was strong, but I'm trying to get the momentum going for this month because we're this close to triple digits, and I really want to see us achieve that milestone because I couldn't get to that milestone without everybody's support. So that's what this live stream is all about. Me trying to rally to try to get those sales on SJS Direct books. Now, I may just do another live stream and on Sunday. I might do 2 this week, but this one is one that I wanted to do to try to rally to get to that number. So I'm just going to leave a link to the Amazon page with all of my books on it. And that's what my major goal is for this live stream, is to try to rally to get to that point. And we've come a long way in 10 years on this SJS Direct imprint. I mean, I remember back in the day when I first started this imprint back in 2009, it was a major challenge to get readers, and I'm trying to just continue building on that momentum for the imprint that we're having right now. So that's what my goal is with this live stream, and that's basically what I want to do with this live stream. Now, I also wanted to talk about the comic book. I got an email from the artist that I wanted to work with, and I planned to get to work with him on June of 2021, where he said he would have been open, but his schedule changed, and he said he might be available in August. And so I'm willing to try to wait one more time for this artist as related to the John Haynes at Death's Door comic and try to work with him. I'm just going to wait because I really wanted to work with this artist, but if it doesn't work out, I'll be trying to go look to work with someone else. So everything with the John Haynes at Death's Door comic is together, and the script is ready, the model sheets are ready, and all I'm waiting for is this artist to become available and then we can just get this project started. I mean, the budget, we have the financial resources, everything is already put together on this project. All the logistics is put together, and that's all I'm looking to get done with this project. Now, I mean, I've been working on this for ever since November of 2020. So this is a project that I'm trying to get off the ground and try to get together as related to the first SJS Direct comic. And I want this to be a really quality piece. So with this whole project, I'm trying to get this project off the ground. So again, I'm willing to be patient because I'd rather be patient and give you a quality comic rather than go out here and just hire some random guy and then you wind up with a poor quality comic for all of the money. And again, I know that all of my patrons and all of my donors work hard for their money and they support me because they like my content. And I want to be able to give you guys something of the highest quality, and I want to be able to produce and publish a quality comic coming out for this SJS Direct imprint. So that's what I'm trying to do with the John Haynes at Death's Door comic. I want this to be, again, a high quality comic with really clear, dynamic art. I want it to be a really solid story like the ones you get at the comic book store. And I also want it to be like the comics I used to go out here and buy when I was a kid at the newsstand and the comic book store and the grocery store. This John Haynes at Death's Door is going to be a dark story, but it's going to be like an old Batman or Daredevil comic. And it's going to be something that you can give to any reader of all ages. Now, it picks up on an adaptation of the the fifth story in the John Haynes series. And I'm hoping to get this project out by 2022. So thank you, Shariam25. I'm glad you enjoy my videos. I enjoy making the videos for everybody. And that's something I love doing, is making videos for everybody. I wanted to come on with a topic, but I just really couldn't think of anything. So I just decided to come on live to talk about the projects that I'm working on and try to rally to get those 6 sales for that 100 sales milestone. I mean, that is, again, a major milestone when I think about the 10 years that I've been working on this SJS Direct imprint. I mean, I remember back when I started this all out, I was only getting maybe 7 sales for the year on my first book, All About Maryland. I remember back then I was doing books with hand-drawn covers because I lost my job and I didn't have that much money. Also didn't have much publishing experience. And I just went out here and I just started the imprint with the resources I had and the Dell Latitude computer I had. And I just went out here and just made the best that I could do. And I just look at the progress I have been making over the last decade. And here I am right now, again, about to have a major milestone. And that's something that I'm on the cusp of. And I wouldn't be able to do that without everybody's support. So that's something that would be a major milestone for the SJS Direct imprint, again, to get to that 100 sales mark. And that's something that I really am pushing and rallying to get as related to the SJS Direct imprint. That's something that, again, I really want to get everybody to. So, Trev, I'm glad you're enjoying Stop Simping, and I'm glad you bought The Man Crisis. Thank you for supporting my work. The men's issues books are a major part of the SJS Direct imprint. A lot of men have had their lives changed and transformed by books like Stop Simping and The Man Crisis. And I wanted to talk about a book that is coming this fall. And that book is called Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Now, this is the 3rd Stop Simping book. The first one, Stop Simping, actually it's the 4th, because the first Stop Simping was only 32 pages. It was a free ebook I did on Smashwords back in about 2011, 2012. And the new Stop Simping book, 2nd edition, was So a book. I just took the entire book and tore it apart and rebuilt the entire book so it would be thorough and more comprehensive. I did a second edition of Stop Simping, and when I saw brothers having a hard time on the job, I took my experience with the Strive Job Readiness Workshop and created Stop Simping in the Workplace. Now, a couple of months ago, back in 2019, really, I did a live stream talking about a lot of the simping that was going on in cyberspace with a lot of these guys who were going to Twitch and spending their money out here on these women on these live streams on Twitch and these cam girls. And that got me inspired to write a new Stop Simping book, because I see so many guys out here on the online with this online dating and all of these other aspects of the internet, and they're getting taken advantage of by female predators online. So I decided to write another book called Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and I started writing that book in March. So that book took me, I think, about 2.5 months to finish writing the first draft, and right now I have finished editing. I'm not finished editing Stop Simping. Thank you, Ringo, for picking up The Man Crisis. I think you'll learn a lot from it. Really appreciate your support. But I'm doing a book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, right now, and I'm talking about these Instagram models. I'm talking about these, what were they? Other things, these online dating. I was talking about all of these cam girls who are on the live streams, and I'm talking about a lot of these different women out here who go out here and take advantage of men online. And I did a lot of research on this over the last year so that people can learn about the simp paradigm online and identify many of these female predators, like these Instagram models, like these cam girls, like these so-called gamers on Twitch, and so that they won't wind up being taken advantage of by these female predators. So that's a book I'm trying to get to the marketplace in November or December of this year. I see a stock photo that looks really good for the cover. Thank you very much, Ringo, for supporting The Man Crisis. I really appreciate your support on that book. That's going to help me get to that 100 mark, which is what I'm trying to do for the month of May. And if you guys want to help me get to that mark, it would be greatly appreciated, because that's a major milestone for the SJS Direct Imprint to get to that 100 sales in a month. I've never been to that level yet. I mean, I've been to the point where I can get to about, I was up to 70 for 1 month, and I'm trying to get to the 100 mark. So that's what I'm trying to do here with this live stream, and that's what I'm trying to do this Memorial Day weekend, is take the SJS Direct Imprint to the next level. But that's one of the projects I have for 2021 as related to the fall. The other is the eSteam book, Cancel Vacation, and that book is practically finished and in page layouts, and all I'm doing is waiting for Bill Walko, the artist, to get back to me with the cover on that book. This is a book where I make a commentary on this cancel culture that these social justice warriors have out here, where they go out here and find somebody and they try to destroy their lives. So with that book, I was making a commentary on cancel culture and how these bullies go out here and try to bully, intimidate, and harass people. So that's a book that is also going to be coming out in fall of 21. So I've got those books lined up for 2021's fall schedule, and I've got some 2022 books ready to go. So for 2022, there's going to be a new ISIS book that coming out called ISIS Legacy. And ISIS Legacy is a book where the ISIS character, the goddess next door, meets the Colleen Anderson character from my novel, The Thetas. So this is a major book as related to the SJS Direct universe. And this book is one that I did so it could conclude the second story arc. Now, the second story arc started with the first Bill Walko cover book called ISIS Wrath of the Cyber Goddess. And that start of that arc was the one where I introduced the John Haynes character, who became very popular over the course of this story arc. So Wrath of the Cybergods introduced the John Haynes character, and that was his first appearance in the ISIS series, and it really laid the foundation for the SJS Direct universe. And that was the first book where I worked with Bill Walko where he designed the cover for it. So that's the first book that Bill designed the cover for. And this is a book that practically was one that when it first came out, it did not do well, but then it built momentum because as I started to do other stories, it just led to the SJS Direct imprint, growing, because it introduced John Haynes, but John Haynes didn't really take off until I did the Bride of Dracula book. And that's when a lot of people started to come out, and really in 2016, they started picking up books like Temptation of John Haynes and Man Who Rules the World. That's when they picked those books up, because the John Haynes character, he just took off after the Bride of Dracula. For some reason, everybody just loved that story. And it was the best-selling ISIS series book on the SJS Direct imprint. People they loved the Bride of Dracula. Everybody they just went out and they bought this book up. And that's what led to a lot of people asking me to do more stories with John Haynes. And that's when Mike came to me, Mike Williams, the artist from the John Haynes series. He was talking about how there aren't that many books that feature Black men, Black manhood, and Black masculinity in a positive way. And I came up with I started to do the John Haynes series. And I had a story called The Conversation with Death that I did. And Mike did the cover for that one. And that gave me one of my biggest hits. So Conversation with Death is one of the biggest hits on the SJS Direct imprint. And that book was a major book for the SJS Direct imprint in 2018. So that's a book that it was one of the most biggest hits on the SJS Direct imprint, and it led to the John Haynes series really just it took off from day one. A lot of people compared it to DC Comics Constantine, and I had people telling me that this book, had it been a comic, it would have revived Vertigo when it was trying to relaunch. So it was a book that was a major one for the SJS Direct imprint, and it's one that sells very strongly. So that's with the ISIS Legacy. That's going to be a book again coming in 2022. That one is complete. I've done most of the editing on that book. Page layouts are done, and I've done the cover concept, but I haven't contacted Bill about the cover concept. This one is where I talk about the Black woman and how she relates to legacy. And side, Bill Walko has a website of his own where he features all of his art, and you can check out all of his art on his website. I'll leave a link to it. He's a comic book artist, and he's got a style that's like animation. That's one of the reasons why I like using his work on my covers, because I want to make the ISIS series family friendly. And that's a series that I've done. I do that series for readers of all ages, but I also do it to give Black girls a positive heroine out here, because they don't really have a lot of positive heroines out here. And with the ISIS Legacy story, what I wanted to do was talk about how the Black woman's role is related to a legacy, and that role of the Black woman is related to legacy is very important, because we oftentimes talk about legacy, about the Black man having the legacy, but the Black woman also plays a role because she teaches why what the man is working for is important. Now, the man is the builder of what the legacy is, but it is the woman who teaches why this legacy is important and why everybody should care about that legacy. So that's a story that I felt needed to be written for people out here. because when we look at legacy, we don't look at both sides. A lot of people look at the man and what he's worked for, but I also had to look at the woman's role, because the woman is the first teacher, and as that first teacher, she teaches what the children will value. So this is a very important story as related to the Black family. And I really enjoyed writing this one because I wrote this one right after Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. And I really wanted to do this one to close the second story arc, because it was not just the meeting of two characters. The Colleen character from the Thetas is the reason why I did the ISIS series, because in one chapter I mentioned how the ISIS character was out here before, and she was one of the founders of the Theta sorority. So I wanted to show how legacy was important, how one generation passing things down to the next is very important. So legacy is a story I want to get out maybe March 2022. It's one story that, again, I was really proud to write, and I really am eager to share that one with you. So I've got the concept for the cover. I'm sketching that out right now, and I'm hoping to have that one out back in March of 2022. Now, I also have a new John Haynes series book getting ready to come up, and that book is called John Haynes at Death's Door. Now, this is a book that I also am doing the comic book adaptation of, but I have a prose version coming out as well for those readers who like reading the John Haynes series. So that's a book that is going to feature John Haynes taking on the Greek god Thanatos, and it follows up on the storyline of A Conversation with Death. So that's a story that is going to follow up on one of the most popular John Haynes stories that many of my readers have really enjoyed. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so eager to get out here and do the comic book version of that story. So this is one of the big ones, because, again, John Haynes, this was the book that's really set the John Haynes series to another level. And this is one I'm hoping to get out in 2022. Now, I have the cover for that one from Mike Williams. I got it yesterday, and I'm going to be sharing that on the Patreon after the stream, because I don't know how to, put photos on. Let me see if I can only share video files, I think. Let me see. Nope, can't share JPEGs. But that's one of those books that I want to share. That's one of those covers I'm going to share with my patrons, because I got it from Mike just a minute ago. Not a minute ago, yesterday. And this cover looks absolutely fantastic. And this cover is going to be the variant for the comic book, and it's going to be the one that you'll get if you go out here and buy the John Haynes at Death's Door comic as a variant cover. Now, variant covers in the comic book industry, they are a standard these days, where you get the regular and the variant, but Mike's cover is going to be the variant for the comic, but it's going to be the standard for the paperback, because if it wasn't for Mike, I would not have gone out here and done a John Haynes series. And I really have to thank God for having Mike around to give me that idea, because we wouldn't have one of the most popular books on the SJS Direct imprint. So that's a book that is coming up for 2022. So those are two books that are coming up for 2022. And another book that is coming up for 2022 that I'm working on right now is the follow-up to The Man Crisis. And the follow-up to The Man Crisis is going to be The Woman Crisis. Now, a lot of people, they have bought The Man Crisis and they've learned a lot. And this book has transformed their lives, because it has really taught them why America's men are in such bad shape. But that was just the start of the whole situation with what the problems we're having here in America. As I did more research on The Man Crisis, I started to see that our women were just as much in crisis as well. So in addition to us having a man crisis here in this country, we also have a woman crisis in this country. And the main reason why we have a woman crisis in this country is because most of America and American women and Western women don't know how to be women. They actually only know how to be feminists. So we have a real problem with America's women in this country and the West because most women have learned a feminist culture growing up over the last 50 years. So they don't know how to be women. They don't know the role of a woman as related to God's order. And these modern Western women, they only know how to be feminists. And a feminist is not somebody who wants to be a woman. A feminist these days, especially a fourth wave feminist, wants to be a man. Thank you, Trev, for picking up a conversation with Death. That leaves us with 4 sales to go as related to meeting the 100 milestone mark. I mean, Ringo picking up the man crisis, that's 1, and you are 2. That takes us to 4 as related to getting the sales to that triple digit mark for the month of May. And I thank you for your support because, again, that really helps take the SJS Direct Imprint to the next level and helps take this Black-owned business to be able to expand and grow. So I'm still out, again, rallying to get those sales because this is again, a major milestone for the SJS Direct Imprint. And I'm trying to push towards the finish line with this stream. I mean, because I wanted, because when I saw those numbers, I said I have to keep pushing to get to that milestone number. So I'm still pushing. And I also wanted to talk about some of the other projects that are coming down the pipe for SJS Direct, because I have, again, scripts that are sitting and in part that are complete. I have other ones that are being developed, and I'm always constantly working on different projects throughout the year. So I'm a very busy guy. In addition to making many of the videos, you don't see me making videos at night. Usually I'm working on the keyboard, working on different books, and as related to many of the series like ISIS or John Haynes or Easting, or I'm out here, I'm working on nonfiction books as related to the men's issues and helping men, have a better understanding of what it means to be a man, because so many men, they never had a father in their life. They never had men in the community to sit down and talk to them and teach them the male life skills. So that's why I do a lot of the men's issues books that I do. And that's why I keep doing books, because I want people to continue learning. So I really wanted to, again, try to rally to get those numbers up, because this, again, shows that people are picking up the books. And I had some really positive feedback from a couple of readers. I had a reader come to me on Facebook, and they told me they liked The Temptation of John Haynes. They really enjoyed it. And I had another brother on YouTube telling me that he had his daughter picking up several of my books, and she liked what she saw. And that really meant a lot to me, because I do a lot of stories featuring positive images of girls, and a lot of girls, and to hear a girl picking up books like the ISIS series or the East Eve series or the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, that really meant a lot to me, because I write those stories so that girls can have a positive image and positive characters to show them how a woman is supposed to behave and carry herself. And I'm glad to hear that he's getting those type of stories for his daughter, because I write stories like ISIS and Easting and books like Spellbound so that little girls can have, positive stories with young Black girls to see. So I do those kind of stories for young women. And I also do books for men. And I also want to, get out here and do the John Haynes comic books. That's one that I really am looking forward to, because I was a lifelong comic fan. And when I did the Easting No Good Deed, it really made me smile to see Bill really take a story that I wrote on paper and bring it to life in pictures, because he did a fantastic job on No Good Deed which turned out to be the #1 book on Amazon in, I think, 15-minute reads or so. I did a No Good Deed comic, and I put it on Kindle for 99 cents. So that's a book that I was surprised to see how people reacted to it. I mean, that was a book that really surprised me. So that was a book that surprised me to see people, pick it up and it do well. So that was one of the other things that encouraged me to do the work on this John Haynes comic, was seeing all of the things as related to the No Good Deed comic, which was based on a story that practically got over 3,000 downloads. So I'm eager to, again, get more content out here, get more books out here. And we're also working on some other videos. Now, one of my viewers, they requested I do a review of the Doomsday Clock comic book series, and that video is going to be coming next week. I'm planning on shooting that possibly Sunday or maybe Monday, and that's a video that I'm getting ready to go out here and do. I've been reading the comics and getting into that one, but I also see that with the numbers, the comic book videos don't really do that well, but I still do them because I love comics. I grew up with comics, and I also want to give indie comic creators that exposure that helps them get a few more sales here or there, because some of them have gotten a few more sales here or there. So that's something I would love to do more of. Unfortunately, I don't really get that many views on those comic review videos. So I've got a lot of comics I picked up on Indiegogos and Kickstarters, but I haven't really done the reviews for them because of the low views. But I may try to do one here or there to continue doing them, because I bought these comics just to review them and to also help out the Black-owned businesses out here, because a lot of these Black creators out here, they really could use the support. I mean, and they produce really great comics. I mean, they produce some really, really great Black fantasy. Like I bought, I think that's not the one, but I bought a few of them. And I'm sorry. Like I bought this Search for Sadiqa #1. I have #0, and I've been meaning to review this book, but I just haven't had the time to really get into it. I also I wanted to see this book. This is a great comic, and I really want to see more people pick up this book, because Greg Burnham did a great job on it, and I'm planning on doing more reviews. I have a lot of comics that I still want to do reviews of, but that's something I want to do. But I go out here and I buy a lot of Black-owned comics from Black creators, and I try to support other Black creators out here, because I know that if in order for us to get intellectual African American fantasy out here, help that market grow, you have to put the money behind these creators so that they can go out here and produce more work. And that's why the 100 sale milestone is an important one for SJS Direct, because the more sales that I get for the SJS Direct books, that helps the business grow, and it helps us with things like the algorithm with Amazon, because that's how you get in more searches. And when you get in more searches, people find and discover you as a writer, and that really helps you be able to grow and expand your brand. And it also helps you be able to go out here and grow and expand your business. So this is something that is very important. That's why I go out here and support other Black-owned creators, because I want to see the image of Black people remain positive. I see a lot of positive brothers and sisters out here producing a lot of great work, like Concrete Comics. I recently did a review of their comic, The Watchmen, and they thanked me for that review. And I also got thanks from Billy Tucci for the She review. So a lot of creators, they really appreciate those comic review videos, but they don't really get as many views, but they do have a real strong impact with a lot of creators. So that's one positive of doing the comic review videos. And that's something that, again, I try to do, is foster that that positivity as related to the comic book community. But I'm still trying to, again, rally things as related to the SJS Direct imprint. I'm trying to go out here and continue to build on the momentum, because I know a lot of viewers wanted me to do a live stream, and I didn't have much of a topic today, because I was so busy trying to work on some other stuff and trying to get some books together, and also working on the comics. So I didn't really have a topic. So, and I saw this milestone getting ready to come up, and I knew that I needed to rally for this, because this is, big for the SJS Direct imprint. And thank you for the Cash App. You see who gave me a Cash App. Thank you, Corey, for the Cash App. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to donate to the Cash App, you can donate to the Cash App as well. Again, I go out here. Thank you, Corey. I don't know anything about Boyce Watkins. That I would have to do some research on Boyce Watkins. What did he do now? Because Boyce Watkins is always, doing stuff out here. So I have to go out here and do some research on how Dr. Boyce Watkins put a foot in his mouth this time. So I have to find out what he did now in order to make that video. So he's a simp, and how is he a simp? So, he's attacking Kwame Brown. So everybody's trying to attack Kwame Brown these days, because Kwame Brown, he's speaking a lot of truth, and he's, calling a lot of people out, because I saw what happened with Kwame Brown. They disrespected this man, early on. These people who are a part of Legacy Black Media, they have disrespected your Kwame Brown, and that's when he decided to do what I started to do when I felt like when I lost my job at the City College of New York, where I felt, I have nothing to lose here, so I'm just gonna say what I gotta say. And what's happening here is these people never expected Kwame Brown to come out like he did. So that's why he's coming out with both barrels, because he figures he has nothing to lose. And if he's going to go, he's going to take his respect before he winds up having anything happen. So he's like this: you're going to try to call me a loser. You're going to try to call me a failure. And you're trying to dog this guy out. And he's out here saying that, no, he's not going to let you disrespect him like that. And that's why I have great respect for him, because like myself, it's like he's just coming out saying what needs to be said, and just letting these guys know that he is not going to go out here and be some pushover, because they always expect a black man to be some sort of soft pushover who's just going to go along to get along. And what he's doing is saying, I'm not going to be this pushover. I'm not going to just let you come out here and disrespect me. No, I'm going to check you, and I'm going to check you hard. So, I mean, I listened to what you're saying about, he said black men need to be stepdads and black men to continue. No, that's not what a man does. No black man needs to be a stepdad. No, it's for that. If that woman goes out here and has been with this man, it's between her and that man who she fathered the child with. It's not for a black man to be a stepdad, because the man is the head of the household. And when I listen to your Boyce Watkins, if this is what he's proposing, he's really talking about trying to make a black man into this beta male who's just gonna go and take somebody's leftovers or try to clean up somebody else's mess. And that's not a thing a black man is to do, because the black man, as related to God's order, is the head. He is the father. He is the steward. And again, he's supposed to take accountability for his own home, and he's not supposed to go out here and take responsibility for somebody else's home, because he didn't establish that home. Because as the Bible states, when a woman goes there and lies with the woman, they become one. So when that man and woman come together, they become one, and she is supposed to cleave to that man and forsake her parents. So that's not for the man to go out here, another man to come in and try to take care of somebody else's family, because when that woman laid down with that man, she committed to that man. Because when you go out here and you go out here and lay with that woman, you are a family together. So it's not for that man to be a stepdad. It is for that woman to go out here and cleave and bond with that man. That is what a woman should do. But your Boyce Watkins, he doesn't really understand how a man is supposed to be. And if he's attacking Kwame Brown as related to that, it just shows how out of touch he is about the role of a man as related to God's order, and how out of touch he is as related to the role of a father. Because no, the only person who can run a household is the father of that home, because those children come from his seed. If those children come from his seed, he is the only person who has authority over those children. So he is the man of that house. And if that woman doesn't want that man to be the man of the house, then she should not be getting in the bed with that man. So that's what your Boyce Watkins really needs to think about, because him taking shots at Kwame Brown doesn't really help his position. It makes him look really ignorant. And that's what makes your Dr. Boyce Watkins looks like a clown. He's going out here talking about something that isn't have anything to do with Kwame Brown. He's trying to make him look stupid, but that's what everybody in the mainstream media has been doing, trying to make Kwame Brown look like some sort of clown. And he's pushing back, fighting back, and letting these people know that you're not going to make me look like a fool. You're not going to try to embarrass me. And I respect that man for standing up and taking his respect as a man, because that's what a man is supposed to do. When people are trying to disrespect him, he's got to come out and check people. And that's what he's been doing, checking people, letting them know what the deal is. And if you're going to come over here and try this with me, you're not going to be able to get away with it, because sometimes you just can't be the nice guy who tries to just not really engage. Sometimes you just got to call these clowns out and let them know. And he's letting the legacy black media know that they're not going to go out here and push a bunch of lies on him. He's going to let them know what the deal is and what the story is. Now, Computer Robots asks, what are my thoughts about stepmothers? Well, that's the same thing as stepfathers, because as I see it, the only people who can run that household are that father and mother who created it. And those are the only two people who can manage that home. Now, if that woman has passed away, it's one thing. But if you guys go out here and call yourself divorcing, then that's another thing. So stepmothers, they really cannot manage a household, because they can't have that authority, because you're not that man's wife in that situation. I mean, if this was a sister wife situation, it'd be a different thing, because that woman and that woman have agreed to that. But this is stepmother just being brought in. She can't be an authority, because that the children don't see her as a leader. So that's a problem with the stepmother, the same thing as the stepfather. And that's why both of those relationships are dysfunctional, because there's nobody being brought in to manage that household. So when you have a man and a woman come together, they have to understand how important it is to form a family, and they have to understand how important it is to keep that family together. And that's why you have to be careful about who you lay down with, because if you lay down with the wrong person, that can lead to you making a complete mess of your life. And I wanted to do a whole video on that, and I may just do an entire live on that, because that's something that people really don't think about. They don't think about, you go to bed with the wrong man, or you go to bed with the wrong woman, and your entire life winds up a complete mess. And this is what happens to a lot of people that leads to them becoming like the women who I talk about in why 70% of Black women are single. And that's one of the big mistakes that they make. I haven't been to Scotland. I haven't been out of the United States. Sharon 25. I have, I have traveled over parts of the country, but I have like Washington and North Carolina, but I have not been out of the United States because of financial issues and, my unstable employment situation. But maybe one day I will. And maybe if I can continue, building the momentum on the SJS Direct imprint and hit milestones like the 100 sales, we can think about, going out to other parts of the country for things like Comic-Cons. And I can do events like that where I can go out here and sell books on the SJS Direct imprint. So that's something that is, again, another long-term goal, because before the pandemic, I was planning on doing, a Comic-Con to sell SJS Direct books. That was a plan that I had, but the pandemic came along and I couldn't do it. I mean, some goths asked me to go do a show in New Jersey, but I wasn't set up and ready yet to do that. But it's something I was planning on doing in the long term, in addition to the comic book project. And I'm just trying to build the momentum because that's what I'm trying to do. And with it being a Memorial Day weekend, I wanted to do, again, something a little different for this stream because, usually I do a men's issues one. I do different types of ones, but it's a weekend that's the holidays are coming up. And I also have some other projects. Again, I'm trying to get back to, so I wanted to do a quick stream where I'm rallying to get, again, these 100 sales, try to get this momentum going, because this is a very important thing for, the SJS Direct imprint. I mean, this is something that I have, again, it's a milestone for the business. And if we can get to that level, can get to that point, it makes a major difference. Because again, when you go out here and you can get to that point, I mean, we are at 96 right now. We only need 4 more to get to 100. I mean, that's something major for me as a publisher. And it's very significant. And when it comes down to Black businesses, it's hard for a lot of businesses out here to get those kind of numbers and to, go out here and rally that type of readership out here. But I'm still trying to make that progress, still trying to grow the business. And that's one of the reasons why I came on tonight. And I might do a Sunday live stream. I don't know if I want to do a Sunday one, but I might do a Sunday one because Sunday is a big night. And there's a lot of people online on Sunday. So I may do a Sunday show where I just talk about one of the more serious topics. Like I may go after that high value man. Thank you, Tony, for picking up Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. That's a book that has transformed so many Black men's lives and Black women's lives. I mean, a lot of Black women picked up Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And that book practically made a lot of women gain some perspective on themselves, and it helped them understand why they were single and why that life paradigm they were following was keeping them single. And I may do a whole live stream on that book again. I did one video on it a long time ago because I couldn't do a radio show as related to it when I first did the ebook version of it, but I may just do a whole live stream on it because a lot of Black women, the life paradigm they're following is keeping them single, and a lot of the behaviors they're participating in is keeping them single. I'm thinking about maybe possibly, revisiting that book, because I think about when I talked about the company you keep keeping you single. That's a chapter, I want to add to that book, because a lot of women don't see the people around them that keep them single. They don't see how the girlfriends, the baby mamas, and people they hang out with. These people, they keep you miserable in their company. They keep you from getting close to a decent man. They keep you from having a good relationship with a decent man. So they don't see what it does, but I want women to see that. That's why I wrote the book, because so many women are single because they don't understand their role as a woman in God's order. They don't understand the role that they're supposed to have. And they don't really understand these things. So that's one of the reasons why they have so many problems in the relationships. Tony, do I think the character in Falling Down was a beta male? I don't know. I have to watch the movie. I never watched Falling Down, but I would have to take a look at the movie in order to understand that. So that's something that I'm thinking of. If I can find it, I'll take a look at it and maybe do a review. But the movie Falling Down is a very powerful movie. It's a movie that really um, presents, the dysfunction of the white male and how he struggles with the changing world. So it's a very thought-provoking movie that Joel Schumacher made. Um, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you see where I'm coming from, and I'm glad you did learn from your father and your stepfather. Because decent men, they will teach you what you need to survive in the world. They'll teach you the life skills you need to survive. So I'm glad you had men in your life, computer robots, to learn from. And I'm glad you had men out there, because a lot of guys out here don't have that. I was on Instagram a couple of days ago, and a Hispanic guy came to me and he said he wanted to know if he could purchase the Man Crisis and he could learn from it. And I told him to go pick up the Man Crisis because he could possibly learn some things from it. So there were some things he could learn from it. So I let him know, because so many men across the world have actually learned from this book. They've learned a lot about manhood from this book. They've learned a lot about male life skills and male survival skills. And this book has practically opened up a lot of men's perspectives, about life out here. So, yeah, but I'd have to watch the movie. I haven't seen it, but I'd have to take a real good look at the movie. I don't know what streaming service it's on, so I'd have to take a look at it. Let me see if it's on YouTube for $2.99. But he was the original guy out here who had serious issues, and he was really struggling with different stuff. So um, I'm rallying to get to the 100 sales mark again, and we're at 96. Just got 4 more to go, and I'm going to try to rally all throughout this weekend to try to get to that 100 mark, and that's something I am really pushing for, and that's something I'm trying to go out here and do. So I have other projects I got to work on this weekend while I have the time. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream. I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream, and I may possibly be doing a Sunday show, so I hope you'll be there for next week's stream.